Hello, guys and gals, me Mudahar. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a question I get asked a lot when I stream or do things. And I wanted to sort of make a video, a sort of definitive, sort of point in the lore that can teach you and at least tell you why I'm scared of this one specific thing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, hentai is one of those things that has actually left me scarred emotionally, mentally, physically, and in any other fashion you can imagine. It's just left me all the way out there, and it's why I don't consume any of this. Now, as somebody you might be understanding, I might be a total coomer, but I'm actually not. I'm actually quite. I don't do any of that. I'm actually consumed far more with work than anything, so I don't really have time to sort of coom all, in any way. And if I do, the last thing I'll ever go to is hentai. And I'm not saying this to sort of shame anybody that does. Listen, if you like drawings as much as the other person, hey, that's how Mafia works, right? Now, let's be real. I don't want to go all the way through. Anime America literally just came out, told me that Australia banned hentai, okay? Now, that being said, all right, I think that's a little step too far. I don't think you should be banning hentai, but I'm going to explain to you why I'm scared, okay? Now, this story takes place like 5-6 years ago, all right? Like, this is when I was totally new. I'm not even a huge anime watcher, still am not, and I decided to fire up a hentai. Now, normally you think there's like levels of like, there's stages, right? Like stage 1 degeneracy, and then you work up to like stage 2, stage 3, all the way up to like stage 9, where you're looking at like really decrepit stuff on the internet, stuff that you wouldn't want like anybody, like if your great grandmother saw you watch this stuff, she'd do a Back to the Future and prevent the lineage from even extending all the way to. It'd be some crazy stuff. Now, the hentai I looked at pretty much took me from like degeneracy level 1 all the way up to like degeneracy level 9,822. Like I was on the highest layer of depravity at this point. The hentai in question was something called Dropout. Now, if you don't know what Dropout is, I'm going to go through the story, but I'm going to preface this by saying this is one of those stories that if the Twitter mob ever knew about, it would be canceled to high hell. Like, there would be like a cancel tactical strike on this hentai if Twitter was to find out. It is one of the most disgusting, decrepit hentais you will ever come into contact with, and it's like a multiple series. Now, to start off with, this was interesting because it had the cyberpunk dystopian tag. Now, somebody that likes cyberpunk and dystopia, I was like ready. I was like, dude, a anime hentai thing about cyberpunk dystopia stuff? Heck yeah! Way back in the day, I watched a hentai called like Love Wave, which is about this like cyberpunk future where like a computer virus or like literally turned every robot into like a killer for like 2 seconds, and it just destroyed the world. Like, we're talking some real Deus Ex Mankind Divided shit. So when I actually came across to watching this, I wasn't watching it for the adult scenarios or anything. I was actually watching it for the plot. And it was like 4 episodes of pretty decent plot. Like, I was fast forwarding through all the adult stuff anyways. I didn't really care. So anytime I came across an anime hentai like that, I was literally watching it for the plot. So I figured Dropout, cool. Maybe it's about this cyberpunk dystopian future, and it is. So it starts off with this like, premise where what happens is like, if effectively these students, they're getting graded heavily, right? Like they're getting graded hardcore. They have to be the best of the best in their class. Now the guys pretty much are like us, right? Like they're all they have to do is like get good grades, they get a good job. The chicks, on the other hand, are given like a really fucking terrible dystopian future where like basically if you don't get good enough grades, you're effectively like converted into like a fuck doll at this point. You know what I mean? Like you're just converted into like this human like sex animal doll or whatever it is, right? And it goes on both ends of the spectrum. If you basically are like the worst performing student, they turn you into what is effectively like a public toilet, right? I guess you can make all the connections you want. Now, if you're a really good student, like a really good chick student, then you can become like a classy public toilet for one specific student. So the whole plot of the hentai is like this one kid gets into like the elite class, right, where they all have like personal fuck toilets and like they have like the best education ever in Japan, and they all get gifted like the top of the line super awesome students that have now become classy public toilets. You can put all the story together. Now he eventually falls in love with the chick he's assigned, and that's the whole story right there. The problem with it is not only is the actual scenario so fucked up, it's so messed up. That's not actually the reason I got completely traumatized, by the way. Okay, I figured, you know what? I've seen fucked up stories. I understand how this works. No, what actually freaked me out the most, and I will never forget this, is like it has these weird x-ray shots. Like if you ever played that game Fight Night round 4 or 3 or whatever, and you like jab some dude in the face, it like x-rays into their skull and you can see every bone shattering. This is the first time in my life that like every time this dude banged someone, like every scene, they would have these like critical hit moments where it would just like turn all the human characters into like x-rays and you would see like all the weird fluids inside fly around. It was truly disgusting shit. It was truly wrong. And I figured as like one of the first couple hentais, I was like, listen, the only one I ever watched before this was Love Wave, and I thought the story in it was like pretty fucking decent. I didn't think it would get this goddamn decrepit. It was the one time in my life where like I watched like an adult video and I was like, wow, I really feel bad. Like I actually feel really bad because I'm a normie when it comes to anything like that. Okay, like I will look up the most tame softcore shit you could ever find, and that's fine for me, dude. That's okay. The moment I crossed into like the 7th layer of hell was the moment I said, you know what, man, I don't think I can get into any hentai anymore. I don't think I can fuck with this shit any longer. And you know what's funny too? Is anybody that I've ever told a story, they've always like, oh, but you watched one of the worst hentais, okay? There's some point, like, I don't care about the good ones or the bad ones. Once you've seen Fight Night round 4 take place inside some ovaries, I think at that point you can pretty much safely say that's enough cooming for one fucking lifetime. But yeah, that's one of the stories I wanted to share with you guys because it's something that gets asked a fair bit about my hentai preferences, and I really don't have any. And it's not because lack of trying or like I'm like an anti-anime person. No, I just actually am really fucking disappointed and disgusted at this point in my life. Maybe it's because I'm getting older and I'm becoming like a fucking boomer at this point, but yeah, that's just really how I feel. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you thought about this in the comment section below. Have you even ever heard about what I've described? Maybe it might be more common than I expect, maybe it isn't, but ladies and gentlemen, Dropout is truly disgusting, and it might have actually ruined my love for adult cartoon drawings, if anything. So ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and yeah, I'm out. Take care.